It's so important to take time to stop, to then calm and then rest and then heal.
This is The Deep Dive with Adam Roa.
It's sort of an even deeper practice to stay in the stopping and stay in the calming and staying in the resting when I'm still like my company, all of a sudden Tushy is like, we're selling a ton of bidets and all these things are happening and we're now in Santa Barbara and all that. It's just, and so it's like every day I still have to make sure I do my Vedic rounding, when I'm feeling a little tight and I'm feeling a little scared or I'm feeling a little what the fuck's going to happen with the world, like what's going to happen, how are we going to gather again, like what's the process in that, like this is unprecedented, and so everyone's still learning as we're all going. And so for me, what I do is what I call my Vedic rounding, which is basically 15 minutes of asanas, so 15 minutes of just yoga poses with deep breath. And then from that asana, I do 5 minutes of pranayama, which is, breathing out of my nose. And I do 20 minutes of Zen meditation, which is just complete stillness. And then I go to my journal and I journal for 20 to 30 minutes every single day. And that process and that practice has kept me sane, has kept me spacious, has kept me dreaming, has kept me, excited about humanity and the next phase of where we're all going as a human people.
Yeah, thank you for outlining that. I feel like what you said about it's stop and then calm.
Yeah.
And then rest, right? Yeah. That calm piece is something that I feel like, honestly, there are so many people who this period of physical distancing and isolation is actually doing the opposite. Like if you haven't developed a way to ground yourself, then being in stillness, being in silence, being on your own in that way is can be actually anxiety arising, right? And so it's so important. What you spoke to is so important that people figure out what works for them as a grounding practice every day to calm the nervous system. Because when that nervous system is agitated, when it is in a state of fight or flight, our body is diverting resources away from the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So like what you're saying, that next step of resting, that actually can't happen biologically if we're in fight or flight.
Right.
And
in my book Disruptor, I talk a lot about how to practice becoming a warrior gatekeeper of your mind and then how to practice pattern interruption. It's so easy for us to get all the news media and all of that fear porn, as we like to call it, into our system of just thinking. And then we all of a sudden we're just like, oh my God, this is so scary, to then letting that run our lives. And that anxiety stays in our, it triggers our adrenals, triggers our thyroid. I have a very sensitive thyroid, triggers our heart, triggers our whole body, and our nervous system just, gets into that state of total fear and then, panic. And then from that place, you're acting in desperation. I recently went to I did right before Corona hit, I did a 6-day silent meditation in the Redwood Forest with Adyashanti, who's an incredible Zen meditation teacher. And one of the things that he said was, we can either grasp in desperation to know what's going to happen. We can grasp in desperation to figure out like what's going to happen in my life, what's going to happen in my job, what's going to happen in my relationships, what's going to happen in my home, what's going to happen with food, what's going to happen. It's like we can either grasp in desperation to know and then act from that place of desperation, or we can become completely at ease with the unknown. And when we become completely at ease with the unknown, what comes from that is what Thich Nhat Hanh said, is just deep rest.